Puerto Rico did it with 5 freshmen and 3 transfer players, and they have gelled so well.
You saw that when they met earlier this year in mid-January, Michigan led 19-7 at the end of the first quarter. A great start for them there. Let's see if they can get a great start here in that game. Number 0 for Washington. Savia Sellers had 30 points. They're going to try to mix up the defense on her so that doesn't happen again.
That player there, Daniels, had just 4 points when they met up, though. So Sellers had 30, but not able to make up the difference was one of their top scorers there. Daniels already the first points.
Alea Daniels, a quick 2 for Washington. Here's the Michigan Wolverines. Swords to Greta Kampschrader. Oh, 2 for 2 in this ball game, 1 on each side.
Great sign. The senior transferred a couple seasons ago from Oregon State, but became a starter this year, and she's leading as an upperclassman.
Kampschrader is the best three-point shooter percentage-wise on this team. And there's an offensive foul on the Washington Huskies. Kim Barnes-Arico has done something really special with this program. They've got 20 wins on the year, which they've had every year except the COVID-shortened season when there are only 22 games. But here's perspective on how good what Barnes-Arico has done. This is her 12th 20-win season. Before she got here, the Michigan program had 4 all time.
Yep. How about that? And now 4 in a row for her. And what she's been able to do with this group, there were so many question marks. I've talked about this, but she said this group, they're growing. It's been so fun to watch, and they want to be coached, and that's a big deal.
Olivia Olson, the freshman, who's the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. That's a bucket for Michigan.
Well, Coach couldn't say enough about this just incredibly driven student athlete. She never wants to lose, doesn't matter what it is.
Pokes the ball away, but it is saved. El Ladine will fire. A little short on the 3, and here comes Mia Holloway. Holloway taken all the way, loses it on the way up, but Kampschrader follows no. Putback is good for Olson. She's got a quick 4.
Broken play, and if you're Washington, you have to box out. Michigan's an aggressive team. They love to crash the O boards. Too many chances there.
7 unanswered points for the Maize and Blue. Anna Steins with the ball. She had 14 yesterday to go along with 6 assists. Washington has gone deep in the shot clock early on in this game. Briggs stepped out of bounds before she had a chance for a shot clock violation.
So defensive pressure causing problems for Michigan, and the defensive help rotation not getting there to stop Olson. She read it perfectly, but 2nd and 3rd chances crashing the O boards. If you're Washington, you've got to find the bodies and box out. But, you know, Michigan does a nice job in spreading the floor. That spacing makes it tough at times to find the bodies and the box out.
That's Jordan Hobbs from deep. She drills it. Michigan's off to a great start shooting.
I mean, no hesitation. And Hannah Steins was right out on her with a hand up.
5 shots have gone up for Michigan. 4 shots have gone in.
They average about 7 threes a game, about 8 a game for Washington.
Alea Daniels, look at the move she has inside.
Grad student that stayed. She transferred 2 seasons ago from Cal, found her way to Washington.
Kampschrader found her way for a good look at the rim, but a miss. And that was a story in our first game on the day. The losing team had real troubles hitting shots right at the rim.
I think she was surprised how open she ended up being after that one. Patience by Sellers. Coach Barnes-Arico told us we might see a variety of different defenders on her.
Well, misses for Ladine early on. Michigan wants to play fast, get the ball in transition. Wilson's 3 is a bit too strong. Here's Savia Sellers on the run. That's a good look for a long 2. It does not go for Tegan Brown, but kept alive by Sellers. Steins gets a pick. Daniels. That's out of bounds. She dribbled it on the baseline.
Daniels wanted a foul call. Doesn't get it, and she thought that's what forced it out. But how about the quick release? No hesitation by Jordan Hobbs, the senior. Love her story. Daniels faking one way, a long stride, and finish the other. Daniels has worked so hard on her quickness and also worked on the range of her shooting a bit, but her interior game is spectacular.
Shot is offline, and here comes Washington. All 4 points have come from Daniels. She's got the ball and gets a little push in the back from Mila Holloway. Now, yesterday was the first ever Big Ten tournament game for Washington, and for Tina Langley, it was her first as a head coach, but of course, not her first all time. She was an assistant coach at Maryland under Brenda Fries in their first year in the Big Ten. They ended up winning the tournament that year. And oh, by the way, if Washington wins today, who's waiting for them tomorrow? Brenda Fries and the Maryland Terrapins.
Oh, they have such a great friendship. They speak about one another always, and high regard from both coaches. 7 seasons for Langley at Maryland.
Senators short on the 3, but it's kept alive by Daniels. Daniels has been all the offense for the Huskies.
She's one of those players that could have gone somewhere else as a grad student, chose to stay to play for Tina Langley and stay at Washington.
Another possession deep in the shot clock. Ladine's going to have to heave it up. And Hobbs has the board.
Defense has been spot on for Michigan. They're overplaying, but they're not giving up any space for Washington. They haven't found any back cuts.
Michigan staff told me before the day, playing fast in transition and rebounds will be key for the Wolverines to move on.
You got to bring the energy from the start. That was one of the things Coach talked about as well. Bringing the energy, bringing the effort. I think they have so far.
Sellers finds a lane and her first points of the day.
You said it, though. She had 7 of 7 from the line in their loss against Michigan earlier in the year. 30 points for her, but just didn't have enough to go with her in that one.
Sellers had 15 points yesterday. Swords to Hobbs from deep. Daniels with another board. Washington's winning the rebounding battle 7-4. That pass is stolen by Swords. Up ahead, that pass too strong, however, for Holloway, a freshman mistake.
She's from Canada, played in the Olympics. Talk about bringing some international experience. Played in the Paris Games, was the youngest Canadian in history to be on that team. And she brings a different level to her play, but so does Olivia Olson and so does Mila Holloway. Wow, averaging double digits in a major conference like this, impressive.
Wolverines force another turnover. That's the 5th of the game they have forced. Here's one of those freshmen, Holloway with the ball to another Swords. Put Quarles Daniels in. She has the ball. Back and forth with Holloway. That's a long 2. Michigan doesn't do a lot of that. A lot of their shots are at the rim or threes. Olsen with a second opportunity, gets the roll.
Yeah, both of these teams are similar in that they would like to push, they would like to go inside, or they want the 3 when they get the chance. Daniels out guarding on the perimeter now. She's been a nice addition, the transfer from Oakland.
Tyra Eke with the ball. Keegan Brown thought about it. Deep in the shot clock again. Gonna have to be a heave from Steins. It goes!
And the palms up afterwards for Stein, saying, all right, she's connected on 46 threes now in the season. And obviously she has some range.
Steins had 16 points the first time these two met. I mean, there was no time left. Leaves her hand with 0.6 of a second left on the shot clock.
Right there, you can see the communication. You can see Steins asking Eke, hey, come set the screen for me. And Eke saying, get the ball up because there's only 1 second on. But that's good court awareness and communication between those two.
If you're Tina Langley, are you okay with the fact that the shot clock has been taken very, very late on almost every possession?
You know, if you don't get the opportunity to get out and run, then you're happy to have the patience to get a good shot. I think the key is to get your best look and your best option. I think it says a lot about Michigan's defense, though. It has been very good this first quarter.
Swords with a mid-range right in the paint. Those are her first points today. Her first points ever in a Big Ten tournament. Washington won 79-65 yesterday. The story of their first quarter then was Elle Ledeen, who has the ball right now. She had 12 points in the first quarter. That was the same as their opponent, Minnesota, had yesterday.
Yeah, how about that?
High off the glass. Ledeen has yet to hit a shot today. She's 0 for 4 from the field. Foul on Olivia Olson. All postseason long at B1GWB Ball on X Twitter and at B1GWBB on YouTube and Instagram chronicled the drive to a championship with deep exclusive access, the best highlights, features, and so much more. Sellers on Quarles Daniels gets blocked. Second chance, curls around like a caterpillar for Delia Daniels.
Wow, Daniels, that was just her effort. She started at the top of the lane, went all the way down to the block, and with the finish. She had a slow start yesterday in their game and win against Minnesota. Not the case today.
Michigan led 10-2 to open this game, but Washington's now down just one possession. And it's stolen away by Elle Ledeen. She's on the run, down the lane with the right hand. It's a one-point game.
Anticipation. The experience of Washington starting to elevate. Can't say enough about experienced players that have played together. They are starting to gel, possibly, Mike, at just the right time.
Sure feels like it. They've won 5 games in a row. That's their longest win streak all season long. For a bubble team, you can't ask for much more.
4 starters back from a season ago, but this is still, it's always a different season, different group.
Olsen, the 3, too strong. Daniels has it, and Ledeen's got a chance to score and give her team the lead. That's an awkward off-balance shot. It doesn't go, but a nice end to the first quarter to Washington to make it a one-point game.
And I'm sure she has to be happy with that, but not getting enough out of those opportunities. She wants them to be a bit more patient.
She goes immediately to Grabowskaya, who cannot get it, but a rebound to Quarles Daniels. So what changed? How did Michigan go from a 10-0 run to open the quarter to Washington going on an 11-4 run to close it?
You know, some of the shots just didn't fall, and some of the shot selection was not where Coach would have wanted it either. And that was a difference. And then some defensive stops, a couple of turnovers forced, and then Washington able to get out on the break a bit more.
Of Washington's points have come in the paint. Shot clock again, down 5. Steins, the pull-up, around and out. Holloway to Grabowskaya. Grabowskaya played very well against Washington earlier this year. Get a whistle inside, but Grabowskaya struggled in that game against Illinois. Didn't even get to play much. The foul was called on Silas Swords.
That game against Illinois to finish off the regular season, it was all Illinois early on. And then the fourth quarter, everything changed. A 17-0 run. They finished on a 19-4 run. Michigan did. I mean, it proves that you can come back from almost anything. But if you're Coach Barnes-Rico, I don't think you want to feel that way very, very often.
And against a good Illinois team, and a tough place to play.
Yep.
And a real good crowd there in Champaign for that game. Sellers knifing through the lane. She's going to head to the line for our first free throws of this game.
Sellers, such a tough guard. At 5'7", you think, okay, not a tall stature, but a strong physical guard, a strong rebounder. She leads the team in assists. She's also a 15 points a game scorer for this group, and she has scored in double figures now 17 times. Had 15 in the win against Minnesota yesterday.
A big jump this year. Averaged 8 points a game last year, up to 15 this year. Shot 30% from deep, up to 40% on threes this year.
Talented player out of Alaska, and incredible what she did in the state of Alaska as a high schooler.
Look at her go. Short on the layup. Campstrader has it. Yeah, you talk about being a great player in Alaska. How about the all-time leading scorer in the history of the state?
There's that.
Active hands on defense for her as well. Schrader out to Hobbs, loses her defender.
I like that shot, though. I think they were being much more patient. Michigan is, I'm sure, coach really emphasizing that in the last timeout. And you could see a difference, making the right choices. That one just didn't drop.
Here's Ledeen on the drive. That's an offensive foul. This is not the El Ledeen that we saw yesterday and that we've seen most of the year, really.
Yeah, it really isn't. And she knew right then and there, even before she let the shot go, that she wasn't going to make this because she knew the defense got there and she couldn't stop herself. She tried to avoid it, but an excellent job, the rotation from Camp Schrader.
Here's how good El Ledeen has been since the beginning of February. 28 points, 28 points, 26 points, 15 points, and yesterday 21 points.
Yep, so good. Double figures, 26 of their 31 games.
That's an offensive foul. The Michigan offense has come to a halt. They've made only 2 of their last 14 field goals and have now committed a couple offensive fouls, including 2 early on Olivia Olson.
Yeah, she's been kind of quiet. I was just thinking that the possession before, that they haven't been able to get her good looks.
Michigan yet to score in the second quarter. Daniels, Steins, Ledeen, and Sellers all had 14 or more in yesterday's game. This is an offensive foul on the Huskies.
Yeah, Daniels only had 2 points in the first half in yesterday's game. She picked up a couple of fouls and had to sit and watch a big chunk of it. She's such an important piece, averaging 12 a game, 7 rebounds. She's their best rebounder. Her length and physicality, they need her on the court.
Another one rattles in and out for Swords.
Yep.
Sellers up ahead to Chloe Briggs. And they'll reset. Daniels, pick and roll, perfectly executed.
Yeah, rotation not coming over for the Wolverines down low, and she had the open look.
Dalladell Foss gets blocked by Daniels. Nice back-to-back possessions there by the 6'4" Daniels, a grad senior from the city of Seattle.
Yeah, no time to celebrate at the other end. She had to get back.
Daniels, a former McDonald's All-American. Went to Cal initially, played 2 years before transferring over here. Feed to Delos. Foss guarded tight by Ledeen. Sellers did not have the numbers, so Ledeen will reset. Huskies have come all the way back to take a 3-point lead in this game. It's a deep 2. With it.
Just a little short once again, using the screen. She's got such a quick release, but those were shots that fell for her yesterday against Minnesota.
Ball's gonna stay here. Time for today's assist of the game, fueled by Gatorade.
Perfectly executed. High pick, you roll, and you get it back. Steins connecting with Daniels, and Daniels hands up, and the help D, a second too late. This is the kind of start they've needed from Daniels. 8 points for her, 4 of 4 shooting. Again, only 2 points yesterday in the first half total.
Hobbs, an awkward off-balance shot. Rebounds continue to be in favor of Washington. And taking their time on offense.
They certainly are, and I think that's a big key as to why we heard Autumn Johnson talk about those close games that they've been in against big teams.
It's a beautiful find, and Cheegan Brown finishes.
The junior has come off the bench both last year and this year. She's a key piece to this team.
Michigan's on a scoring drought here. It's a 10-0 run for the Huskies.
They needed a bucket. That was a beautiful drive, the right idea, another chance.
10 to shoot. Hobbs. Macy Brown just checked into the game. Breaks through 2 defenders and another miss. Michigan shooting almost 20% from the floor right now.
I like the drive by Swords, though. Get a bucket to go and settle yourselves down, but she just couldn't get her composure to finish the layup.
On the drive. No, but she'll head to the free throw line.
She got hit. She's slow to get up.
Here, 31 minutes a game, 13 points. She's one of the most important players on this team. And I asked at one point this season, Kim Barnes-Arica, about her, and she said, honestly, and she started to get emotional and choked up, she said, this is what I love about coaching, people like her. And then she gave me the famous Michigan line, those who stay will be champions.
Well, it's such an impressive story, and she's also talked about, she's going to graduate from the Ross Business School at Michigan.
Not easy.
No, and she's already got jobs lined up for when her basketball career is finished up. So depending on when that will be, but it says so much about her. I love that her parents emailed, and Coach, I'm sure Barnes-Arica was like, do I want to open this or not? What are they going to say, right?
Daniels has been so much of the offense for Washington, but commits a turnover. That is turnover number 8 on the game for Washington.
Too many open looks for Washington early by Daniels, and so the help D coming over that time, that was a big plus. Nice adjustment by the Wolverines.
Michigan has to find their offense. They have not only scored 2 points in this quarter, they've missed 12 consecutive shots.
They need a bucket.
Holloway. And that shot will go. They will count that basket. I thought for a second it was before the shot, but they're counting it. That ends their streak of 12 straight misses.
It was her hang time that threw you off a little bit. She was hanging up there for a while. It was Holloway. She's going to get the three-point opportunity.
So Mila Holloway is a freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina. Honorable mention All Big Ten. Great three-point shooter. Her mother and her grandfather graduated from Michigan as well. She started every single game this year as a freshman. Doesn't get talked about much because you got Swords and Olsen, but Holloway's been great this year.
She certainly has. I mean, double digits, leading them in assists as well. I love a scoring point guard.
Speaking of great, that was a great pass to Tegan Brown from Sellers. Olsen misses. Quarles Daniels somehow comes up with it. Look what I found.
But did not give up on the play. Quarles Daniels, one of the transfers in. They weren't sure what kind of a player she'd be. Transferred from Oakland, but wow, she's got an incredible wingspan. Just whatever this team needs, she comes in off the bench to give them something.
She was so offensive for her previous team, Oakland, her 2 years there. Led the team in points, assists, rebounds. Look at this. Daniels has come to play today. The grad senior with another bucket. She's got double-digit points right now and a chance at a three-point play.
She's such a competitor, and there's no way that she liked the way she started yesterday's game, which is 2 points in the first half against Minnesota. She's making up the difference here in this one. She's going to try to add to her totals here from the line, but I love the work that she's put in, and I love that she's stayed to play for this team in her graduate year.
The highest scoring season of her career. Averaging 12 points a game. Misses the free throw, though. And it'll go out of bounds the other way. Two-point lead for the Huskies. NCAA tournament bubble team that got a big win yesterday. Remember, the NCAA selection committee still looks at how you did at the end of the season, and there's plenty of time to talk about the flaws in that as a metric, but still, for now, it's something that they look at, which is beneficial for Washington as Sword scores there, because a win today would give them 6 straight victories.
Yeah, it would be really impressive in a 20-win season for Tina Langley.
Steins for 2.
Steins, a junior, brings experience. It's an experienced team for Washington, and you can tell they have a chemistry. They've played together for some time now.
Swords from deep. Michigan is really struggling to hit a basket. And it's going the other way. We mentioned that Washington was a bubble team, according to Autumn Johnson. They are not one of the last 4 teams in right now. They're a little safer than that. But again, and this is not a knock on Autumn, we're not in the room, right? So this is an intelligent, thoughtful assumption of what Autumn would do in these situations, but seeds can be off by a little bit because we're just not in that room. We don't know what that collection of people thinks. In other words, these games are very important.
They are very important. They know it. That's right. One game at a time. That's exactly what Coach Langley would say, though. One game at a time.
By the way, Virginia Tech right now, who is on that graphic, losing by 7. Autumn wants to join us with more. Autumn?
Hey, you guys, yeah, a lot of Ivy League schools sitting in on that conversation on the bubble, and even Minnesota was there as well. I had to drop them to a first 4 out team just with the level of competition across the board, but a huge statement win coming from Washington, the way they played, the way they were connected with 10 threes overall. They had 20 assists in that matchup. That connectivity is something that separates Washington. So when you look at the observable component, that's something that the selection committee takes notice of how they challenge the toughest teams. And we even saw how they challenged USC, only dropped by 5 points, LSU by 1 point. I even thought versus UCLA, they challenged them, especially in that third quarter, got away from it, but this is definitely a deserving NCAA tournament team, the way they've been able to fight in, and a win over Michigan today would just provide some comfort overall, but I definitely think they've cemented their spot.
Well, and Autumn, let me throw another one. How about the game against USC? They led by 12 in the third quarter of that game before the Trojans came back to win. Michigan takes the lead back as Hobbs checks into the game and gets a bucket. She had to leave with that eye injury, but she's back in there.
Good to see her back in.
Closing in on a minute in the first half. Sellers from deep. That's her first three-pointer, just the second of the day for the Huskies.
She's got 67 of them now in the season, though. 40% from behind the arc. Talk about a tough guard. She typically likes to drive it in, but she's obviously been able to put it up from the perimeter.
Hobbs, tough shot. Welcome back to the court, Jordan Hobbs. By the way, coming up on the State Farm Halftime Show, Ashley Adamson, Jimmy Miller, Elise Woodward, and Lisa Bluter, recapping everything we just saw in the first half and previewing what's coming up later on tonight. Sellers just hit a three, short on this one. Ball kept alive by Brown.
That one looked good. It had a chance, and now another chance for the Huskies.
2-second difference between shot and game. Ledeen on the drive. Daniels keeps it alive, but they can't get another shot up. And how do you like that? A Big Ten tournament game that is separated by only 1 point as we go to the break.
If I'm Washington.
Impressive. She's got 2 points, only 1 of 8 shooting. She had 21 points in their game yesterday. She came in red hot in the entire month of February. Let's see if they can keep that up here in the second half as Daniels continues the second half the way she ended the first.
Well, that's the thing. Daniels can't do this by herself. So if the defense by Michigan can keep the others in check, they got a great chance of taking this one.
Swords misses that one. And to the defensive credit, remember, Sellers had 30 against Michigan earlier this year. She's got 7 right now in the third.
And it just proves to Michigan that one player can have a spectacular game, but if we don't let the others have the option to go with her, then we can win this ball game.
And even in that first game, Steins and Ledeen played well, but every other player on the team combined for only 8 points in Michigan's win earlier this year. Another miss for Ledeen.
They've just been off, and can't say enough about it. I mean, averaging 17 a game, 21 yesterday.
Swords hits the three-pointer. Silas Swords now has her first 3 of the day and 7 points.
It's a great sign to come out and get one of your top scorers going immediately.
Swords has 61 made three-pointers on the season. That's 8th best in the league. She's a freshman. Boy, Daniels is having a ball game.
It certainly is. She won the Big Ten Sportsmanship Award this year for Washington. Student athlete and teammate.
Greta Kampschrader inside. You know, one of my favorite stats about this Michigan team is in the entire 52-year history of Michigan, they've had 3 McDonald's All-Americans ever. They're all 3 on the court right now. Swords, Kampschrader, and Olsen.
Yeah.
The only 3 McDonald's All-Americans they've ever had play for them.
Yeah, all of their success has come with just getting the right chemistry, the right players, very good recruits, but they aren't all maybe McDonald's All-Americans. That could be a good sign for Washington there, though.
Ledeen hits the three. Remember how hot she was in the game yesterday early. 12 points in the first quarter. She has not scored a ton so far, but that three might break loose a hot score. Ledeen with a mid-range. That's 5 points in 20 seconds.
Okay, she wasn't even ready to catch that one. She's like, wait a minute, I wasn't quite ready, and turns around and sticks it. I love the ability of this player when defense also for Washington can create some offense.
Ledeen can heat up, by the way. Her career high is 40 points. That came earlier this year against Northwestern.
Yep.
Michigan with a one and done. Washington's made 4 of their 5 shots this quarter. Sellers. And out.
And that would have been a big push if the Huskies could have gotten that one.
Hobbs is running. Holloway from deep, short. And that is going to be off a Washington foot. He'll stay here with Michigan.
Running a foul call, but not getting it. Just a bit open. And the look is perfect for Swords, but Ledeen at the other end, her first 3 of the game, and big bucket. She needed it. How about another one? But this time on the interior, she was just making a cut. That's confidence.
Remember, only 2 players in the entire league hit more 3-pointers this season than Ledeen has. So for that to be her first of the day is saying something. Grabowskaia hits one from nice, impressive layup there for her. Sellers gets the whistle on Grabowskaia.
Tough. She takes it in, not afraid to draw some contact at 5'7". Grabowskaia transfer from Middle Tennessee. She's played with Russia for some national team play. And a nice addition, I think, that Kim Barnes-Arico has been able to kind of piece together, because some of what she had to decide on was late in putting this roster together.
Hit 10 points the first time against Washington.
And that's great production coming in off the bench.
Posting up and gets fed. And up against Eke. This is off to Olsen, a tough 2.
Most of the shots today for Olsen have been tough. She has not had easy looks, but able to get that one. She just seemed like she was in control on that one there.
Huskies up by 1. Sellers bounce pass inside is going to get a whistle.
Olsen gets in front of the defense, and that's where getting beat that time with Stein. She got in front of her, and it was a good look. That's the key to find her.
Brooks Daniels comes in. Holloway will get a breather. Huskies will inbound. Sellers to Eke. Ledeen. Step through. Strong.
Haven't been many easy looks for Ledeen either in this one.
Hobbs can't hit the 3. Ball is off the Huskies' hands. Will stay with Michigan. Wolverines looking for their 21st win on the season. Winner of this game gets the Maryland Terrapins tomorrow afternoon. Swords hits it.
And a smile.
It's a deep 2 for Swords.
Smile on her face there, Mike, afterwards. And just the beautiful look. If you want to practice a shot, look at her shot. It has the most beautiful backspin and rotation on it.
Swords already has scored more in this game, 9, than she had against Washington the first time they met when she had 7. Olsen gets her own rebound, and that's going to be a whistle on Steins.
Hustle plays are favoring Michigan right now, and it's paying off. Crashing the O boards. If you're Washington, you got to start finding some bodies. Olsen losing the lead just enough, but stays with it. At 6'1", good quickness for a long guard.
Hobbs inbounds to Olsen, who gets the friendly rim. Olsen's up to double digits now with 10. Here's some pressure from Michigan, a light pressure. Now have the lead by 3. The lead has changed 9 different times in this game. Brown with a good look from deep. Swords fights for the rebound. Daniels scoops up the lane. Michigan's up by 5.
I like the finish with the left, and now some full court player to player. They're matching up. It's a scrappy effort that Corals Daniels brings when she comes off the bench.
And that's 8 unanswered points for Michigan.
The season, and now 5 points this quarter.
Right, she followed up that 3 shortly after with a mid-range shot, so 5 points in like 20 seconds. But right after that, Michigan went on the 8-0 run that they're on right now. Daniels checked out of the game right around when that run started. She's back in. Shot clock down to 5. Brown to Daniels, and the Michigan hands are everywhere defensively.
Boy, they sure are. And how about the length at 6'5"? Bravaskaya and Kim Barnes-Rico is loving the effort. It forces a...
Starting 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central Time. Feed to Olsen. Hobbs was all over that one on the assist.
Oh, the hang time, the alley-oop for Olsen, able to finish. Trying to get her going. That's a good draw up in the timeout as Washington another timeout, and it's a 10-0 run for Michigan right now, and so they're trying to stop, but hard to stop this. Hobbs has been on, whether it's assist or scoring today. When coach called her the glue, I get it.
Senior from Ohio has stepped up big ever since she left the game with an eye injury earlier. Washington has lost 12 turnovers today. Part of why they're down by 7. Stein with a second chance. There will be no third. Here's Corals Daniels.
There's been several of those short misses, and that tells me maybe a little fatigue, maybe the pressure by Washington, by Michigan rather, but just been a little bit short. These are shots that definitely fell for the Huskies yesterday in their first round game against Minnesota.
They scored 79 points yesterday. They hit 10 three-pointers. They don't have 40 points yet and have made only 3 from deep.
Coach Arley hasn't gone super deep into her bench. She's bringing in Devin Coppinger now, number 3 in black, but hasn't gone super deep, but you kind of wonder. I'm seeing these short shots and thinking, are they a little fatigued?
Back-to-back fouls by Washington. This one's on Chloe Briggs, who has 3, and so she'll head to the bench. Will inbound to Olsen. And there's Grabowskaia getting it. Another turnover. 13 by Washington. Olsen standing in the paint. Yes, it's good. And one opportunity.
This team has grown so much, and they've continued to gel as a unit with so many new players. Only 4 players back from a season ago, and the freshmen, along with a few transfer players and some emotion from Olivia Olsen, who had a slow start to this game, but she's made her presence known in the second half. She's got 14. Give her another one.
The folks on the Michigan staff will talk about the vibe that you're referencing on this team. They'll chalk it up to 2 things. 1, senior leadership, which they do have a good amount of, and 2, energetic and selfless freshmen. They all want to get better, and they have really intense practices. They did a game of theirs a few weeks ago. It was an 11 o'clock Central tip. They had a 7 a.m. shoot-around that they took, so they had a practice at 7 a.m. Everybody was there. Nobody was complaining about it. These are intense practices they have, and it's paying off.
Yeah, it is. You know, and that's what it takes, everybody to be on the same page. These players have bought into it.
They got 20 points off Washington turnovers, and they've stretched the lead to the largest of the day at 10. Daniels can't miss one at the rim. Can't make one at the rim, excuse me. Swords. Olsen's had a great second half. She scored 9 here in the third quarter alone. Trying to add on to that. Top shot, and it's taken away. Great defense by Daniels. Swords is able to stop her momentum, and Gradovskaya almost steals it.
Yeah, smart decision by Daniels to try to bring it back out. But Gradovskaya, I mean, she's doing it at both ends. Big minutes for her off the bench.
She only played about 2 minutes in their season finale. They were saying they're not able to do that many things with her, but she has stepped up today against Washington, getting some good minutes and now getting a well-earned breathing.
Another turnover, though, Mike, and 14-5 the differential, and that's a big difference in a close game, taking care of the ball and getting some points. How about 21 points taken by Michigan off of them? That's a big chunk.
Washington led by 3. They haven't scored since. They're now down 10. Laurel Daniels, that's a good look. Daniels throws it to the camera crew. Turnover number 5. Olsen broke the all-time Michigan record for mile time with a sub-6-minute mile.
Yeah, she's also a state champ in soccer in high school. She was the goalie. That tells me all I need to know about her toughness right there.
Minnesota Gatorade Player of the Year, a McDonald's All-American, top 20 prospect. Was a huge get for Kim Barnes-Arico, and she has lived up to the hype.
She sure has.
Under a minute to go in the third. Washington on a huge scoring drought. They've missed their last 7 field goal attempts. Make it 8. Fight for the ball. Great effort from Daniels. And he got a whistle.
Huskies not giving up on this one just yet. They've still got some fight in them, but again, I feel like a lot of the shots have just been a bit short. That drive from Sellers just came up a little bit short, just not able to finish. Got to find some energy, find some fresh legs next quarter.
Michigan is in the bonus. Washington is not. 46 seconds left. Sellers will inbound. Back to Sellers. Another short shot. You mentioned you've been seeing the shots be short for Washington today. I think they found some blood here. That's what they stopped the game for. So we'll take a second to clean that up before the action continues here. So what do you do if you're Washington? You've let 13 straight points be scored by Michigan. You've missed 9 consecutive shots. You've had a hard time not turning the ball over. You've only got 10 minutes and 39 seconds left in this game. What has to change?
Well, the thing about it is that they've tried to take it inside. They've tried to be aggressive. I mean, Sellers just drove it in. We've seen several players try to go inside to either get fouled or make the bucket, and they've not been able to do that. I think they've got to continue to mix it up, drive, maybe kick it out, see if they can get an open look on the perimeter. Who's got the hot hand for this team right now, though? It had been Ledeen.
Well, sure enough, they go right to Ledeen. She hits a mid-range, and that might be what they need.
Yep.
As a junior, she's the leading scorer on the team, averaging 17 points a game. She started to find her offense here with 9 points. After only having 2 in the first half, they'll probably need a big fourth quarter from her.
And like you hear people say, dig deep, but it's real. I mean, when you are, I can remember playing when you say, okay, I don't want the season to be done yet. And you just find another level of play. It's like you get poked in the eye. You know what? You end up elevating your game if you can. We're seeing it from Hobbs.
Well, Ledeen has that confidence and control. I wouldn't be surprised if she does step up in this fourth quarter.
Yep.
Here's Swords with 4 on the shot clock. Oh my, the freshman! Sila Swords is something to watch. Her second three-pointer, she's in double digits with 12. And that shot won't count. Michigan dominant in this third quarter.
Controlled it completely, a 13-0 run that was finally stopped by that make by Ledeen. Kim Barnes-Arico and the Wolverines controlling the third quarter, 23-13. Huskies got to dig deep if they're going to stop that. 27 net coming in. This should not hurt them, in my opinion, this loss right here.
What do you see in their resume?
I I see a competitive group that's a sleeper, not just in the Big Ten, but in the nation as well. What they've been able to do across the board, even outside of the conference, take it on LSU. That's what makes them so challenging. And I was able to listen into that huddle a moments ago, and Tina Langley had everyone look at each other and just take a deep breath. They all did it collectively and smiled and said, let's go, we are good. She said, I need energy coming into this fourth quarter. Yell at switch, make sure you communicate, and we got to get stops in transition.
I love that, Autumn. I love it. And you know, Tina Langley, one of the favorite things that I remember her saying at one time, she said, the joy is in the journey. And it's been a journey for her building this program now in her 4th season. And she said, we're doing it the right way. I'm so proud of this team that even when they were super young and she tried to do it with all, she had no transfers in or out last year, only picked up a couple of transfers this year. She's trying to do it the way that a lot of teams used to do it, and it's not easy.
Well, the 19 wins they have this year, Ledine's shot goes in and out, is the most they've had at this point in the season since Kelsey Plum's senior year. That was also the last time they made the NCAA tournament. So she's got the arrow pointing up for this program,
yes.
for sure.
Yep, she sure does. An impressive third quarter for Michigan, really controlling it. And the things that stood out were those turnovers forced and then getting scoring off of it. The Wolverines, they pounced.
Michigan's had great ball movement too. A bunch of assists on the field goals in the second half.
Yeah.
Sellers finds the lane and gets a whistle. Sellers has 9 points. She had 30 the first time these two teams met up earlier this year. 3 fouls on Mila Holloway. Remember, Washington, one of the great three-point shooting teams. They're 37% of the team is number 8 in the country, but they're only 3 of 12 from deep tonight.
Yeah, they're averaging about 8 a game. An exceptional 38% on the season out there.
Here's El Ledine playing such good basketball the last 5 weeks. Tough shot for Ledine.
The patience of a veteran team can be a difference maker. And right there you see her not giving up on the play, recognizing that the double team hadn't come over. She knew she could go 1v1.
There's a Michigan turnover.
Earlier, the double team had been staying with Daniels. This time, they separated, and she knew she had just swords on her.
That's good defense.
It really is. I mean, when I say on her, she was out on her, hand up, every pivot, every move.
You know, that's something, too, as Ledine fires again from deep. His Swords is a really good defender.
Yeah.
Not for a freshman, for a college basketball player.
Yep.
Olsen, mid-range, got it. Olsen's got a game-high 17. Tegan Brown with the ball at the top of the key. Here's Ledine. Remember, this is a Washington team. The first quarter, almost every single possession went down to 2 on the shot clock. Another long possession here, but it's taken away by Olsen. Holloway up ahead. Grabovskaya, no. And a foul on Sellers. That'll be her 4th. She's the first player in foul trouble today. Nobody else has 4 at this point.
Every time Yulia Grabovskaya has come onto the floor, she has made something happen. And a lot of what she's doing out there is not going to show up in the stats column. And outrunning, she started to play with her defense, and now she's going to try to finish it here at the free throw line.
She shoots 58% on the season from the charity stripe. Remember, only played 2 minutes in their season finale. Playing her 10th minute right now. Splits the free throws, but Michigan gets the rebound.
I think sky's the limit for her game, though, and her ability, if she continues to be coached by Kim Burns-Arico and stay with this group. What a nice addition on the interior.
3 to shoot for Hobbs. That's not going to work out for Michigan. The ball bounces away. There was half a second left on the shot clock anyways.
Defense of the Huskies taking away the passing angle for Hobbs on that one. It's going to take it at both ends for Washington to get back in this one. There's time, but they've got to get stops, and they've got to find some more scoring.
Only 43 points today. As a team, Washington averages 72. There's Daniels. Well, and that's exactly what they need. She has been their star of the day. She's already got a double-double. Now has 16 points and a chance at a three-point play.
Talking to her team, asking for the cut, and instead she becomes the factor. She's such an excellent communicator as well, and smart. You can tell she's just a heady player. It's talking and making the defense think something else is going to happen when really she knows, I'm taking this to the hoop.
Hits the free throw for a three-point play. She's now got 9 double-doubles on the season. Michigan's still up by 11. Hobbs in trouble. That's a foul on Chloe Briggs. That'll be 4 on Briggs. So now Sellers has 4 and Briggs. 2 players on the Huskies with 4 fouls. And it brings Jordan Hobbs to the free throw line.
Looks like Briggs is going to stay on. And if I'm Jordan Hobbs and she continues to match up with me, I know exactly I'm going to be asking for the ball at the other end.
Hobbs hits them both. Nice all-around game for Hobbs. 9 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds.
She really set the tone until some of the other double-digit scorers could get going.
Steins to Daniels. Ledeen. Bounces off the rim twice, and Olsen has it. Those are shots that just fell yesterday for El Ledeen.
They sure did.
Is intercepted by Steins. So there's a stop that you were talking about on defense. Can they capitalize with some offense? Still being patient offensively. Beautifully done as Daniels finds Ledeen.
Daniels is so good with the ball in her hands, whether it's looking to score or finding her teammates. Excellent touch and excellent passer. 3 assists for Daniels in this game.
Jordan Hobbs, before she drives baseline, she took too many steps. And that's back-to-back possessions. Michigan has not been able to score. Washington capitalized the first time with this play.
Looking for a screen to come down, and instead the overplay defense leads to the back cut by Ledeen. That's recognizing what the defense gives you. There's a lot of freedom to this offense for Washington. It's not easy to learn, but boy, once you get it.
So there have been 5 turnovers in the first 5 minutes of this quarter by Michigan. That could be the opening of a door for the Huskies. Daniels on Camp Schrader. My goodness, that's tough. Another and 1 chance for Daniels.
Alongside Brenda Freeze at Maryland, but then when she went to Rice in 6 seasons, the last 5 seasons, 20-plus winning seasons in all 5, and then took over at Washington. Several players transferred to go with her, too. Says a lot about her as a coach.
And that's great passing by Michigan as Olsen gets an easy layup there. They've got 61 points now.
Olsen's been big this second half, so quiet in the first. But you can only hold her down so long. She's been tough as nails.
Here's El Ledeen. She had 5 20-point games in February. They could use some excellent offense from her today. Steins, they could use offense from as well. Sellers on the drive, step through. Doesn't hit the rim. That's a shot clock violation.
Sellers trying to make something happen. You love the effort. But the defense getting a stop even bigger for Kim Barnes-Arico. And I thought Sellers at the last second was maybe going to dish it off. She had an open teammate, but there wasn't a lot of room in there. I like the effort.
Ledeen's up to 13 points on the day, but Steins is sitting at only 5. She averages 9 a contest, had 16 the first time they played Michigan. Yesterday had 14. They've been missing her offensively today.
They have. It's been a problem at times in their losses where there's maybe been a key player on, but then not enough from others.
Jordan Hobbs!
Using her body, so strong. She has been on from the start of this one.
She's not going to be the leading scorer today, but she might be their MVP.
Oh, no doubt.
Great find. Daniels to Sellers. Doesn't go, but she'll be shooting free throws.
And Kim Barnes-Rico told us today at shoot-around, she said, Jordan Hobbs, this is a team we've got to bring our energy and our effort from the start. We've got to be ready from the get-go. Well, Jordan Hobbs brought it. She's been in it every second of this game, and she's been a difference maker.
Sellers at the line. Very good free throw shooter. She's playing right now, despite the fact that there's 4 fouls on her.
7 assists for Sellers. She haven't been quite there today, but she's been finding her teammates.
It's a 10-point lead for Michigan. The clock is starting to become the Huskies' enemy. Holloway happy to tick, tick, tick time off that clock. Seven to shoot. Corals Daniels in trouble and travels. They have been able to force some turnovers on Michigan here in the second half.
Perfect defensive rotation for help. Daniels was right there, and there was nowhere that Corals Daniels could go.
Here's Steins. Ledeen for 3. Rebound to Olsen. Michigan's lost 8 turnovers in this second half. Again, they're gonna just drain the clock. Trying to put an end to Washington's 5-game win streak. 5 to shoot. Olsen. Swords. Running out of time. And another turnover. But it took a while. Entirety of the shot clock. Half a minute off the clock there. So now it's 2:15 left. And Washington's still down 10.
Yeah, not much one to get out of it if you're the Wolverines, but you did use a lot of clock on that one. Swords was a nice cut inside. The defense, though, sagging in the lane for the Huskies.
Tegan Brown to El Ledeen. Daniels runs into a wall that is Olsen. Ledeen, that's a tough shot. Oh, did they need that? So much confidence in El Ledeen, a player who her freshman year averaged 6 points a game. Last year was up to 11. This year it's a 17.
Just improving every single year.
There's Sellers almost forcing a turnover. It is a tie-up, and it is a turnover. Washington ball.
Washington kicking up the defensive effort, and then tough shot, and the confidence of Ledeen as she's fading. Those are the ones you practice in the driveway right there. You're kind of fading out of bounds, hitting it with the clock winding down.
90 seconds to play. Daniels and Ledeen have been the offense. A lot of time ticking off the clock. Steins. At the right elbow. Fight for the rebound goes to Michigan. And now Washington's in some real trouble. That's going to be an over and back. That's a well-timed turnover for Washington.
Yep.
We just saw the previous possession. A full 30 seconds went off the clock when Michigan had the ball. They couldn't afford that.
Yeah, much on the clock. Yep, no doubt. The over and back call. The officials all over it.
So they forced 9 Michigan turnovers this quarter. But they have to hit shots like this. And they don't from Tegan Brown. Will they foul? Corals Daniels does get fouled by Brown. Oh, check that. It's a timeout.
And get it, but I would say because you got to get a couple of scores in here as well. You're down by 7 at this point. I wouldn't be surprised. You go for the steal. If you don't get it, I would foul immediately then.
All the way to Swords. They do foul right away. They're going to try to stretch out this game as much as they can.
And they have a foul. They had a foul to give as well before they even hit and give Michigan bonus.
Washington is in the bonus. Michigan not yet. But the next one they will be. And that comes right away on Olsen. Ledeen commits the foul. Right now, Michigan from the free throw line has been 7 of 8 on the day, but Olsen going to the line, the 9th best free throw shooter in the league, 82%.
Neither team's really gone to the line much today.
Olsen hits the first.
Just the 9th attempt for Michigan, and only 9 for Washington also.
Olivia Olsen just passed the 20-point
mark, and Autumn's got them dropping out now after that loss, but they came into this with a 37 net, Minnesota did.
Got to score quickly, down by 9. 35 seconds left. Ledeen finds Daniels. That's a good 2. And they get a quick turnover. Hobbs calls timeout right away. Because they had timeout, the ball will move up. Hit a free throw with 12 seconds left. I mean, those are 2 simple plays that make this from a 19-12 team to a 21-10 team, just like that.
And the top 2 teams, UCLA and USC, the champs, they held them to under 10-point losses as well. So they were right in those games.
Led USC by 12 in the third quarter. So again, these are all the things that the committee will be looking at, and will be comparing when they look at Washington versus some of the other teams that are on the bubble. So Swords goes to the free throw line. She's the best free throw shooter on the team, 89%. Michigan's gone 9 of 10 from the stripe today. Washington could really use some misses here. The freshman does not oblige.
So much talk about Silas Swords, Olivia Olsen, the 1-2 punch of those freshmen, just this freshman group overall. But when you kind of look at freshmen across the nation and what they've on today, only 4 makes for each side. They'd like to get a 3, and I think that would be a big plus right now, being down by multiple scores here.
Here's Sellers from deep, had to kind of force it, and the rebound to Swords. Now Washington tries to foul, can't do it. Olsen crosses the timeline, 15 seconds to play, and that's going to do it.
Yep. Yeah, not the cleanest look for Sellers, but it was a quick one, and she had a squared up shot. I think that's what you have to do in this situation, but a big win for Michigan here in this one.
66-58, the Wolverines move on and will face Maryland tomorrow afternoon in the second game here on our air. This